It's lurking inside your fridge, your pantry, your car, your bathroom, your clothes, your body. It's plastic.
Okay, that was a little dramatic, and maybe plastic itself isn't so scary, but like many people, you might be trying to cut back on single-use plastic. But no matter how hard you try, plastic seems impossible to escape. And there's a reason for that. Back in the 1950s, the world was making about 1.5 million metric tons of plastic a year. Since then, plastic production has exploded, to the point where more than half of all plastics ever produced have been made since 2000. Plastic production has doubled from 2000 to 2019, and production is expected to double again in the next 20 years. And all this plastic isn't going anywhere. Virtually every piece that's ever been made still exists. And that's part of the reason of how plastic contributes to climate change, but more on that in a minute. We're basically swimming in plastic. And since most of it can't be recycled, it ends up in the environment, to the tune of at least 8 million metric tons of plastic ending up in oceans each year. One study says that by 2050, the ocean will have more plastic than fish. So what's all this plastic going into? Mostly packaging. Companies use it because it's cheap to make and lightweight to move. Seriously, walk down the aisles of any grocery store and your only option is plastic.
Consumer choice has been taken away from us because big brands decided to put their products in plastic, and then they don't have any financial responsibility to make sure that it's reused or recycled.
It's actually cheaper for companies just to make new plastic than to bother with recycling it. Not only are there over 10,000 chemicals used in the production of plastic, the other ingredient is fossil fuels. And with the world shifting toward renewable energy and electric vehicles, big oil companies may see plastic as a plan B.
The fossil fuel industry and the chemical industry have teamed up to find a new major market, and that's plastic production.
Plastic production is driving growth in petrochemicals, chemicals made from fossil fuels like oil and gas. And they're quickly becoming the largest driver in oil consumption. The International Energy Agency projects petrochemicals will account for nearly half of the growth in oil demand by 2050. And as the petrochemical industry expands, energy companies are investing billions, with 120 proposed projects in the Ohio River Valley, the Texas Gulf Coast, and Louisiana.
The industry is a huge, huge, huge monster in our neighborhoods.
Barbara Washington lives inside Cancer Alley, an 85-mile stretch of riverfront from Baton Rouge to New Orleans, lined with more than 100 petrochemical plants and oil refineries. Researchers have linked toxic air here to higher cancer rates and other health effects.
I've been here all my life. We have land that date back from 1874 that we are right on the middle line of losing if industry keeps coming in. So we don't want any more. We don't need any more.
Plastic facilities like these are also a major source of planet-warming gases. In fact, if you look at plastic at every stage of its life, from extraction, refining, transport, use, disposal, it all adds up to one massive carbon footprint. Let me put it this way. If plastic were a country, it would be the 5th largest greenhouse gas emitter.
Within the next 7 years, we'll have more greenhouse gas emissions from plastics than from coal-burning power plants in the United States.
Yikes. So maybe plastics are a little scarier than we originally thought. But even if this is kind of like a horror movie, it can still have a happy ending. Starting in Louisiana, where activists have scored legal victories to fend off more plastics manufacturing plants. More good news. A growing number of cities are passing bills that ban single-use plastics like bags and takeout containers. And more states are mulling over something called extended producer responsibility laws that would require companies to make sure that their packaging is either refilled, reused, or recycled. Thanks for watching. I'm Allie Van Fleet. Please like and subscribe to Pattrn for more tips on how you can reduce plastic waste, plus more climate and environmental stories like this one.